The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our latest campaign unveiling here at Agent Legend. Before we get going, I just want to make sure you can hear me okay. So if you wouldn't mind just, typing into the chat box, let me know that you can hear my voice, and you should be able to see my screen as well. And as I just look through the names, hello, Andy, hello, Brian, Carol. Oh, awesome. All right. Thanks, Victoria, Laverne, Christopher. Awesome. Hey, Brian. Wow, Brian, it's been a long time.
Yeah, Brian, where you been, man? Jeez.
um, well, welcome everyone. So as Agent Legend members, you are live with us right now. You are the very first to see our brand new campaign. We do these webinars exclusively for Agent Legend members, and we do this to let you know what's working right now in the industry, so just that you can continue to crush it and just effortlessly do all the follow-up that you know leads to more closings. So we have our amazing guest and friend with us today, Tristan Ahumada. He is the John Wick of the real estate world.
Ooh, dude, I upgraded from Aquaman to John Wick. I love that.
You are always the latest, most famous movie theater character that I want to watch. So,
I love it.
But it is
If
true.
all else fails, I'm just Batman, okay?
I'm just Batman. So Tristan runs his own teams and is a very well-respected thought leader in the space. You can keep up with him in the Lab Coat Agents group, which is on Facebook. It's a very, very active group, and Tristan is in the know on so many things. So follow him there. And Tristan has created this campaign that we're unveiling today. And just so you guys know, this is a private webinar for Agent Legend customers, but we have also invited Lab Coat Agent members here in honor of Tristan. So hello, Lab Coat Agent members. Also, just to let you guys know, Bria from our customer team is online and she will be chatting with you. So feel free to type any questions that you've got in the chat box as they come up. Also, we are recording this webinar. So if you'd like to review it later or share it with your team, you're going to be able to get the recording. We're also going to send you this slide deck so you don't have to worry about taking notes or taking screenshots. And this new campaign we're about to show you, it's ready. It's waiting for you right inside your Agent Legend account. So Tristan, let's take it from here. What are we going to cover today?
All right, let's do it. So I've been calling expireds for 15 years now. That was like one of the first things I ever did when I started this business. And the information that we have as agents has just gotten easier for us to receive, but it's always been a challenge to continually stay up with the follow-up with expireds. And after testing out different methods of calling and automating and just creating the system, we came up with what I'm going to show you today. And obviously, Agent Legend has given us the ability to automate most of that. So that's what we're going to cover today. You guys ready?
We're ready, Tristan. This is the listing quickly expired drip. Well, actually, let's take that question from Tristan seriously. Are you guys ready? If you type it into the chat box, just so you know, we're not robots. We like to hear feedback. All right, Laverne St. Mary is ready, Tristan.
All right, I'm glad one person is. Let's get started.
And there's Joseph, Brian, Victoria, Sean, Christopher. They're pumped.
All right, let's do it. All right, so here's how I came up with it. And there's two different types of campaigns. This is the quick one. So what I've noticed is that most expired listings that we go after, they list pretty quickly. And the ones that do eventually end up listing as well. They just take a while. And we tend to follow up with a lot of people, but we've noticed that it falls off after a month, after 2 months, because we're always trying to chase the new expired that just came out. And so this wasn't just something that I had as an issue. It was also something that my team had as an issue. And so what we decided is just to create something so that it helps us not allow these awesome leads to fall through the cracks. And that's where the idea came from. And we had been toying with the idea a few years back on how to automate this. And it wasn't until I started diving deeper into Agent Legend that I figured, oh wow, this has the capabilities of doing that. We had, and just so you know, Costa, we had previously tried this with other companies, and I even created a drip on send out cards. So, if you guys are on send out cards,
Yeah,
you
I
know
remember
how.
send out cards actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so I created a whole drip off of send out cards just so that my expired people got these drips at least by mail, right? So I wouldn't screw it up. But that worked well. But this, what we have here, works even better. So let me start off by saying this whole campaign is really geared towards only geared towards expired people or sellers that you've spoken to. This isn't the thing that you're going to use to spam people if you haven't talked to them. That'll just get you banned pretty quickly and people will start complaining. So the idea behind this is you've got your script where I'm calling up Costas and I'm like, hey Costas, it's Tristan with Keller Williams Realty. How are you today? And he's going to be like, fine. Who's this? What's this about? And I'm like, well, your home just came off the market. Just wanted to see what happened the last time around. Why didn't it sell? He's like, well, my home didn't sell because it didn't sell. What do you mean? And then you go into your script, go do the whole thing. They're going to be like, no, we're not selling. We're just not going to do anything. We've decided just to stay with the home. I said, all right, Kostas, well, thanks for taking the time, man. Do you mind if I follow up with you maybe a couple more times or a few more times throughout the year just to see if you do change your mind? Yeah, no problem. Follow up with me. That's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for that. Yes, you can contact me again. However you get to that depends on your approach. But that's what I'm looking for in order to enable this drip to start. Because if you go ahead and you try this without asking for permission, people can report you and then, you'll be all screwed. So you might even get a fine here and there. I haven't had a fine yet because I don't do that. So just remember that in the back of your head. That's how it works. Now, this specific one, you see it's for expired quickly. That means that anybody that's looking to list in the next 3 months. People ask me, well, how do you know if they're looking to list in the next 3 months? Well, most of the time, I've been calling for 15 years. I can kind of tell if people are going to list sooner rather than later. And if you just listen to them and ask enough questions through the process, you can see, all right, they're going to list sooner, so I'm going to put them on this. And if you're not sure, then always put them on this until you can kind of gauge where they're at. Does that answer any questions before I start? I just wanted to have that understanding so people get it. Kostas, any questions?
Absolutely, Tristan. I don't see any questions that have come through, and I think that was really, really clear. I really liked your conversational approach for handling that initial call because, those calling somebody out of the blue like that's another strategy altogether. But
yeah, there's a whole different set of scripts we can use for that. But then we would last about an hour just doing the scripts doing that. So.
And I think the one that you shared is pretty perfect. So it's totally clear. We're with you.
Awesome. All right. So let's get into this. Day one. You see, day one is a text. Very easy, simple, to the point. And the reason for this is as soon as you finish talking to your clients, so we finish talking to our expireds in the morning. We call typically for the new expireds 8 to 8:30 a.m. We only call in a 30-minute window. Why? Because we've noticed that for years, if you're calling too much, by the time it gets to about 8:45, 9 a.m., we're already like the 80th call and people are super angry. And some of our newer agents, they get pounded and sometimes it's not good psychologically for them. So we narrow that window down so they can talk to the people that really haven't been talked to as much. So 8 to 8:30. And so once you're done, what we do is we send a list to the people that we've spoken to, email, phone number, to our virtual assistant. And our virtual assistant knows because they also get a morning email from LandVoice. We use LandVoice to get all of our information for expireds. You can use Vulcan 7, Espresso Agent, RedX. There's tons of companies, but we use LandVoice. And so once we have the people that we've spoken to, let's say we spoke to 3 people, and Costas, you were one of them, and we're like, you know what, this Costas guy, he gave us permission to touch base with him or talk to him. Now I'm going to set him up on this drip. You can do this on your own. You can go into Agent Legend and add Costas, or you can have your virtual assistant do it in a more automated sequence. But minute number 1, as soon as they're uploaded, it's a text. Hey, Costas, thanks again for talking to me. This is the best number to reach me at. And then it says, Tristan, Keller Williams Realty. Easy. I'm not going to bombard them and be like, hey, thanks for talking to me. Remember, I'll call you when maybe you change your mind and you want to sell your home. None of that crap. I just want to connect with them so that, one, I can cut through the clutter so they remember, hey, I just talked to you. That's number 1. Number 2, you're getting bombarded by like 70 people today. So I'm reminding you that we just spoke, right? And what company I work for and my name. So that's day number 1, super easy text. Day number 2. All right, perfect. Day number 2, we've got another text midday. Usually I send this out about 1 p.m. And it's a text, says, not sure if you've read this, but I read this and I thought of you. It's a Huffington Post article about homes. And then it has a link and then you put your name on it. You can use the same link. It's a really good article in the Huffington Post, but it shows that now it's showing what you're going to be doing for the rest of the campaign. And they may not notice it, subliminal, but you're coming from contribution. You're giving value at this point. You're not asking for the business right here, like everybody else is. Because if other people are texting, and I know this for a fact because I used to do this, other people are texting, calling, leaving voicemails, and they're saying, hey, why didn't you, when are you thinking of choosing the right agent to sell your home? Through text and through a voicemail. And they haven't established any type of trust. And that's not going to work. So now that I've talked to them, right, previous day, I sent them a text just to remind them who I am. Now I'm going in and I'm saying, well, hey man, or hey lady, I was reading this and I thought of you. Check it out. Again, my name at the end. Super simple, super easy. That's day 2. Now I skip day 3 and I go directly into day 4 with an email, and we get our emails usually from the company or the service that provides them. If we see that we don't have an email and we're talking to them and I'm like, hey Costas, do you mind if I reach out to you throughout the year just to see if maybe you change your mind or maybe prices change and you can't end up selling it? He's like, yeah, no problem. Yeah. They usually just want to get rid of us. Costas is like, yeah, no problem. I say, awesome. I've got your cell phone number. What's your email address? I'll just send you my information. And they're usually like, oh, okay, here's my email. Like, great, I'll send you my info. And that's how you get an email address. It's actually super easy. Don't believe me? That's okay. I've been calling for 15 years. I know it works. It's that easy. Day 4, 7 p.m., we send out an email. Subject line, I know we've talked, but here's a little bit about me. This one we've used in other drips as well, and it works so well that we thought we would bring it in here as well. And it does work very well. The reason is sometimes we forget to tell them who we are because we're always trying to let them know that we can get the job done. Hey, I'm the realtor for you. Hey, I can sell your home. But they don't know anything about us. And sometimes we don't have the opportunity to explain to them who we are. And so this way, all in one email, it breaks down who we are to them. Website bio, Facebook, Instagram, Zillow reviews, Yelp reviews if you have them, anything else that you can provide, even a video maybe that provides you walking through the neighborhood or community or anything that you've done, maybe your team, if you've got a team. The idea here is for you to show them who you are and without selling. So it's easy. All this is speaking for you, right? So that's day number 4, email. Now let's skip to day number 7. It's been a week. Day number 7, I thought, why not drop them a voicemail? I don't want to bug them as much that first week when they're getting bombarded, right? So day number 7, voicemail drop is around 4 p.m. You could do it around 5 or 6. We use 4 p.m. at this time. And it says, hey again, it's Tristan. Passed by your home today and reminded me to say hi. You're probably still getting lots of calls about your home. I forgot to tell you that I did let our office know not to contact you. Didn't want people to still call you, or didn't want even more people to call you. Anyway, have a great day. Talk to you soon. Again, I'm giving them something back, just letting them know that I am going to let my people know that I know on my team not to give them a call. And I do, in fact, if somebody says, hey, if we get into a conversation and I say, hey, well, let me let my office know about this, or let me tell my team not to call you. I do send out an email to my office and to the team, and I let them know, hey, guys, I've talked to Costas. Don't talk to him. He doesn't want to talk to anybody else, right? And so this way they can come back and say thanks, or they can just not call you, not text you, and just know that they received it. Any questions on that so far? No. All right. Day number 8, back to back. Now you're going to see a trend here. I go through some days where there's a space of like 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 7 days, 10 days without anything. And then I have these back-to-back days. And it's important to do that because if you're having the back-to-back days, you're going to stand out a lot more. And you give them a break in between like 10, 15 days sometimes. But the back-to-back days, it'll help, like I said, it'll help you stand out more. How do I know? I've been testing this for a very long time. All right, day number 8, you send out a text, 8 a.m. Perfect. It says 8 a.m. Hey, Costas, not sure if you've got the time or interest, but I pulled up info about your neighborhood for another neighbor this week. Do you want me to send your current market stats for you by text or email, or however you want to phrase that? And people usually say, oh yeah, no problem. I'm not interested still. Or yeah, send it to me by text. Right. And then you pull up a quick CMA, send it over to them. And now you're coming back for more. Again, I haven't asked for business at this point. I'm just giving value to them. And I know that if they're going to sell in the next 3 months, I'm staying in front of them. And I've alternated it enough so that it doesn't sound like I'm bombarding them all through one source. Right now, day 16 is at 6 p.m. I send out a video text. You can make it a video email. I like video text, really short, to the point, a little different. People do view them. A video text is, hey, again, just thought I'd say hi a different way anyway. Let me know if you ever need a great plumber, electrician, handyman, whatever. I have a great list of honest people that can help you out. Just let me know. Again, coming from contribution, the video text is no more than 12 seconds on my end. You can make it 15, but it's to the point. It's quick. It's reminding them that we've talked, and it doesn't sound spammy at all. Right? I'm giving you information, Costas. At this point, Costas, I'm like, hey, Costas, if you need any help, plumber, electrician, or handyman, just let me know. Now, we'll skip a whole bunch of days. Day 25. There we go. Day 25. Now you've skipped 9 days here. And it's going to be an email. The subject line, what you have to know before you sell your home. And then it goes into, I know you've been getting bombarded by other agents. Again, I'm reminding them, but I want to help you guys out. I'm already letting them know, hey, I'm a little different, right? Here are 3 websites. It would be great for you to do some research about your neighborhood, just in case you didn't know and they want to put this up more. And they're like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Or, wow, I didn't know about this. I had one client tell me, wow, I didn't realize that the schools, this is an older couple, I had forgotten that schools were so important for selling your home. That was the email that I got back. I was like, oh, that's cool. People read this stuff. You just have to have you have to change your mind and say, well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be going for the close on day 1, 2, or 3. Maybe I should be giving them value first and show them that they should be working with somebody like me because I'm coming from a point of helping. All right, day number 35. Now you have a whole bunch of days in between. You're like, wow, that's a lot of space in between, Tristan. I mean, that's okay. Don't worry. It works. Day number 35. Text 11 a.m. in the morning. Good morning. That's what I love about being able to send at specific times. You can say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. It's Tristan again. I'm not sure you need this, but every once in a while, I come across some great investment properties. Would you or your family be interested in anything like that? We don't ever think to ask about other possible opportunities to be able to help these people that we're targeting. But you'd be surprised how many people come back and say, yeah, I've thought of it. How does it work? Or no, not right now. I'm still looking to possibly sell my home. Those are the responses I get, which is kind of cool, right? You just shifted it. Now, I'm not saying, hey, Costas, do you want to sell your home still? I'm just asking if I can help you in something different. And still reminding you that I do real estate. The best part about this is that it's automated. I could be drinking coffee at Starbucks and chatting it up with Costas, and I'm texting at the same time. Day 40, 5 days after, voicemail drop. And this is the one that you and I were talking about, Costas.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So, yeah, I missed the whole portion, the beginning portion of this. Glad we changed it. All right. Voicemail drop. Hope you're having a good afternoon. It's Tristan again. Just was reading a stat and I thought of you. 88% of all buyers financed their home this year. The same as last year, or the same as 2017, consistent with previous years. Now, what's happening is younger buyers are more likely to finance their home purchase. 97% of buyers aged 25 to 44 years old financed, whereas only 67% of buyers over the age of 65 years finance their home. Have you thought of offering seller financing? Right. So this has stats, and you're going for this one. This voicemail specifically for that analytical person, that person who didn't think about offering seller financing and could stop for a moment and be like, whoa, I didn't think about that before. How does this work? Now you can tweak this so that it sounds more like you, but the idea behind it is to have them start thinking about other possibilities of why their home didn't sell. If all of a sudden they think, well, maybe I should have offered seller financing. How does that work? It gets them to come back to you and be like, well, how does it work, Tristan? Tell me. And of course, as I'm explaining to you that most homes were financed and most people had a challenge financing their home because they couldn't find the right loan. And I said, well, dude, if you thought about maybe financing, if you don't need to cash out on everything, that opens up another avenue for us to be able to talk and engage. That's the point of that voicemail.
It also, all these things are setting you apart because these are, usually the churn, and the other 99% of everybody else who's calling them, it's just churn and burn. You want to sell your house, you want to sell your house, you want to sell your house. They're not going deep into any of this stuff. So you're coming at them from new value perspectives that doesn't compare to what anybody else is saying, right?
You got it, man. You got it. And this stuff that I've put together is just from years of talking to people and seeing what it is that they need. That's it. Day 45. Here we go. It's a simple text. And you can send it out in the evening, morning. This one's the morning. So good morning. All right. Good morning, Costas. I'm not sure anyone has sent you a title report yet. Have you taken a look at it to see if you have any false liens on it, or encumbering liens, or a mechanics lien, or anything you want to add there? And most people don't take a look at their title report. That's just a fact. They don't even know how to read it. Most agents don't know how to read one. And so the fact that you're bringing this up and they're like, well, what is it? Or no, or yeah, we're current. But the point is, you're asking them if they've taken a look at something that's going to affect their property. at this point, day 45, if anybody's still calling or texting from the other agents, I guarantee you it's not coming from a point of giving or contributing to this person's well-being. It's, do you still want to sell? Are you still interested in selling this year? And that gets kind of boring. All right, day 46. See, there's the back-to-back again, right? I want to stand out. Day 46, I'm sending an email at 7 a.m. Most of the time, most emails are opened between 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. It's the best time for you to send out an email. I was going to do 6 a.m. on this one. You can if you want to. 7 a.m. is not too bad. And the other best time to send it is at 8 p.m. An email. So emails, those are the best two times. Usually people open up emails when they're going to sleep, right before they go to sleep, and in the morning when they're still in bed, which is crazy, right, Costa?
That's a really good point. Yeah, Tristan, that's really, I think that rings very, very true.
Yeah, I have a little email separate from Lab Coat Agents. I have this email database of like about 1,800 real estate agents that I send emails to, and I have a 47% open ratio. And most of the people that I'm looking at when they send this stuff open it at 6 a.m., which is insane.
Wow.
So it goes along with the stats that the other companies did. All right, so day 46, early email. Subject line, why it's important to know what an iBuyer is. Most of us have heard what an iBuyer is. Most of us have no idea what an iBuyer is because the definitions are all skewed. And so chances are that that seller has no clue either. So right here, you go over what an iBuyer is and that you also have a list of iBuyers that are ready to buy homes. And if you don't, tweak it, but most of us can find an investor. Most of us can find an investor, or our brokers have an investor that can come in and buy a home at a discounted price. I have a list of 5. They'll buy homes anywhere in California, any price. And so to me, those are like my guys. We just closed one in 7 days. Sent out, it wasn't through this email, it was a text. And we were back and forth. It was a for sale by owner. And they said, okay, show me the money. I'm like, okay, give me a minute. And I called up 2 of my guys, came in, they went to the home. I want this home. The seller was there. They negotiated it. They bought it. I got a one side of the commission, and now they're remodeling it, putting about 150,000 in, going to sell it for 1.1 and about a month and a half, and I'm taking the listing.
That's fantastic.
Off of my iBuyer. So this works, especially because a lot of people are talking about iBuyers and they don't know what it is, right? You're coming in from a point of curiosity, right? That's the subject line.
Mm-hmm.
All right, day 55.
Tristan, we have a question actually from Brian, which is really relevant. He asks, do you have to remember to stop the drip once you list the home?
You do. I mean, it would suck if you didn't, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be like step number 1. This drip keeps on going, even if they respond. That's the point of it. But as soon as you take the listing, it's your job to remember to stop it. If you're a one-man show. If you have your admin on this or a virtual assistant, then they know to check every day with you. Like my virtual assistant, they know to check every day that they work, every day, to make sure that these that are going out to active to non-active listings. So if they've relisted, we're removing them from this as well. Even though they did give us permission to speak with them, right? Because we did get that permission. I just don't want to have any issues with any other real estate agents or brokers that think that we're trying to take their listings away.
Absolutely.
Right? So every day, that was a great question. Every day I do have my virtual assistants check for me. You can check every morning, or you can have team member or admin check.
And that's the reason, Tristan. That's kind of the other side of nurture campaigns, because you don't want somebody to respond saying, "Hey, Tristan, thanks for the tip," and then suddenly they're stopped and they never hear from you again because they were automatically stopped. So,
You got it. You don't want to have this one automatically shut off. That's not the point of this.
right. So with these campaigns, you've got to be on it. And if somebody complains, if someone wants off, or if somebody becomes a client, you need to go into your account and stop them.
Yeah, and this is the reason too, Costas. So I've been, like I said, I've been calling for a very long time, expireds, and very consistently. And we do list a lot of homes from expireds. This this is the reason that when I'm calling an expired and I get permission to text them, to call them, to just engage with them, um, I make sure that we're checking every day to see if it does go on as an active listing. I don't want to keep on bombarding them if they've already relisted, right? So
Absolutely.
we created a process for us that worked for us to be able to remove them from this as well. So it's important to stay as ethical as possible, right? We get permission to talk, we get permission to text and email and all that, and we don't want to keep on talking to them if they've already relisted.
Of course. That's smart. I'm glad you clarified that. And we have one more question from Nick Nico. Uh,
What's up, Nick?
so Nick, by the way, Nick and Brian, I remember, if I'm remembering the right people, I remember talking to you guys 4 years ago when we had just started the company, and I'm feeling nostalgic seeing the same names. If this is Nick from Knoxville, if I'm remembering correctly, but so
Nick
Nick
Nico,
asked,
dude, I always tag Nick Nico on Lab Coat Agents because every time I'm going to tag Nick Baldwin, Nick Nico pops up. So I'm like, oh, I'll tag Nick too. Just so you know, Nick, now you know.
that's hilarious. So Nick asks, do you have a contract with your iBuyer to get paid through them?
I have a long-standing relationship with them, so no. And just so you know, for my investors, these iBuyers, they if I'm standing in the way of making a deal for them, like my commission, I step out because I know I'm going to get paid on the listing side.
Hmm.
So if I can make this deal happen for them, they're going to take care of me because my relationships are really good with these five. So just know that if you can make this happen for them, then if they're a new investor, I would say, hey, okay, fine, guys, if I'm not going to get paid on this side, I want you to guarantee me that I'm going to take the listing. Here's a contract.
Fantastic. Thanks for clarifying that. That was those were really, really valuable tangents.
Yeah,
Thanks
they
for
are. Great question, man. All right, good. Where am I at? Number 55. Day 55. I love day 55. Here we go. Oh wait, where's another one? Day. Yeah, okay, here we go. I was looking for another one, but day 55. To my text goes out about 4 p.m. So afternoon, late afternoon. Remember, 4 to 6, best time to contact people. Text, call. Hey, Costas, not sure you knew this, but I wanted to share these stats. Quality of neighborhood, 58%. Convenience to job, 44%. And overall home affordability, 41%, were the three most important factors to recent home buyers when choosing a neighborhood. Have a good day. And that's it. I usually just add, what do you think of that? Question mark, or have a good day. I've been testing both out. So far, have a good day, kind of just leaving it as a stat for them. They're like, oh, thanks, type of thing, right? But what we're doing here is we're laying the groundwork again for when we meet them in person again, or when we talk to them in person again. We're showing them that we're professional. We have information that will help them understand this market and this process a lot better. Now you can tweak that for your personality. Some people have told me in the past that I guess over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, not the clients, but other agents that I've shared this one with, is that for them it's kind of a little too direct. They've added a question mark at the end. Like I said, what do you think of this? emoji happy face question mark instead of just saying have a good day. So that's an option as well. All right, next one, day 65. It's a voicemail. This one goes out at 6 p.m. towards the end of the day. And since it's a voicemail, for this one, we alternated this between voicemail and text. So for this one, I'd say, hey, again, it's Tristan. I've been teaching an agent in my office how to run the estimated values for homes, and she's doing much better this week. I've been using some of my past clients' homes as guinea pigs. Do you want her to do a quick estimate on your home just for the heck of it? Call me or text me just to let me know. Have a great morning or have a great evening whenever you send it. And we do get responses back on this one when we text it out. We also get responses when we send it as a voicemail. The reason I alternate this one is because we were testing it out, and as a voicemail, it got good responses, but as a text, it got even more responses. So you may want to switch that one out back and forth between a voicemail and a text. Just depends on your area, depends on who you're sending it out to, price point wise. By the way, that most people think this doesn't work in all price points. We've tested this out in average price point 5 million in Broad Beach. I think the most expensive home in Broad Beach is like 25 million. Least expensive home is like $1.5 million, but it's a shack. I think it's like a tiny little 1-bedroom teardown. That's where we test this out. And also other neighborhood where there are lots of townhomes, average price point 400,000. So we've done it all over the place. And now we're testing it out in Missouri. Costas, we're going to be testing this out in average price point 175,000.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's invaluable. Yeah.
Yeah. So this works. Day 75. Here we go. 8 a.m. text. Hey, Costas, I emailed you 2 weeks ago, or about 2 weeks ago, about iBuyers. Have you ever looked at selling your home to an all-cash iBuyer for slightly less than market value? This is the one I get a lot of responses on. Most people didn't read my email, by the way, just so you know. But they do read the text, and they're like, no, I didn't get that email. That's their response. What's an iBuyer? Or just, what's an iBuyer? Or what do you mean? But I do get a large amount of people responding to this one, because you're bringing in two things. One is, I'm telling you, I emailed you 2 weeks ago, right? And number two is, I'm bringing in an iBuyer and saying, hey, have you thought of this? Or do you even know what an iBuyer is?
I also like the slightly less than market value quote, because it allows them to qualify themselves as being really motivated, right? Because if they say yes to that, I mean, if they say now we want to hold on for as long as we can to get top dollar, but if they say yes to that, then I mean, that's an obvious sign to you, right? Like, these guys are.
That's exactly, I'm glad you caught that. That's exactly why I put this in on day 75. I thought about when to put this sequentially, and the further out I put it, the better response I got, because it now gave them time to go through everybody bombarding them and calling them and talking to them and saying, I can sell your home. Why didn't it sell? You chose the wrong agent. It was your marketing. It was your pictures. All that crap is done. 2 months later, 2.5 months later, now I'm barely talking about, slightly through text, about their home.
I also like your gentle wording, because, I mean, listing a house, or, your house expired. So it's, you're stressed out. You probably need, you don't know why you got this far and why it hasn't moved. And, these people are in transition. So I feel like that's a respectful way to even bring up the opportunity, instead of offending them by saying, hey, why don't you send it, sell it to an investor for way less than it's worth? Because nobody wants to do, no one wants to be an idiot that got ripped off on either side of the transaction, right? So this is a good way to take care of them while qualifying them. I like it.
Cool, man. Any questions on this one?
Let me see.
Nope. All right, good.
There's one question that just popped in. One from Brian. He says, what do I talk about if I'm not using iBuyers?
If you're not using iBuyers, just say, I emailed you about it. Well, your email is going to change too, 2 weeks prior. So what you're going to talk about is the type of buyers that are around, and that's Gen Xers and baby boomers. And millennials are coming up too. There's a stat in, let me pull it up on my screen here. Hold on. There's a stat, there are stats from NAR, and the book is called, let me get it. Here it is. You can go to the NAR website, National Association of Realtors. It's called the 2018 Profile of Home Buyers and Sellers. So 2018 Profile of Home Buyers and Sellers. And we use this, well, I use this, my team uses it to create a lot of the ads we use on Facebook, on Instagram, and a lot of the graphs that we create for our listing presentations. And some of the verbiage that we have for how we communicate with our buyers and our sellers comes from this as well. So what you can do, there's a lot of information here. What you can do is use this information and explain to them what type of buyers are around and what percentage of these buyers occupy the percentages of homes being purchased. So you can say like 34% of all home buyers are this age, right? And this is where they're coming from. That could be your email instead of iBuyers. Have you thought of targeting baby boomers or Gen Xers or millennials because they give you, they're buying this percentage of homes in your market, right? That would be the email. And then the text would be like, hey, I emailed you 2 weeks ago about this specific demographic of home buyers. Have you ever looked at really targeting them a lot more? Question mark. And then they'd be like, well, how would I do that? Or what do you mean? Why would I want to target baby boomers? Or why millennials? That's how you tweak that one. All right. Day 85 is an email, midday, subject line, how to sell your homes in 3 days. I thought about adding this one at the very beginning, but I didn't really want to talk about selling their home that early on. Kostas, if you told me that you weren't selling your home and that you were adamant about it and that you just didn't want me to bombard you and then you got this email from me,
Yeah.
it doesn't flow, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm waiting down the line almost until the end of this whole campaign is done. And the subject line's how to sell your home in 3 days. And it says, hey, I know how to write a catchy subject line, right? Right. Funny or not funny, whatever you want. Anyway, I found this article a few months back and I shared it a few times with some sellers that I've helped out recently, and they loved it. It's a quick read, so let me know what you think. And then there's the link, and it really talks about how to sell your home in 3 days. I didn't write it. It's a news article, so you can definitely use that same link, and that's why we kept the bit.ly link there. And then day 90, you've got two. One is a voicemail drop. But it says if you don't have investors, don't send this. So you can send out just the text. All right. So for Brian, who says if he doesn't have a list of iBuyers or investors, you don't have to send this top portion at all. And it's a voicemail. It says, hey, again, I met with one of the investors that I have this past week, and he may be interested in buying your home. If you want to avoid putting it on the real estate market, obviously, there are some conditions. Call me or text me if you're interested. And my investors, all 5 of them, will buy absolutely any home at the right price. So that's why I always feel comfortable talking to my people about that. But your investors have to be on it too. So that part isn't for everybody. Now, the second part is 5 p.m. I send out a text. It says, hi again. I don't want to keep you updated if you don't need it. Let me know if you feel like I'm spamming you. And believe it or not, that gets a shit ton of engagement on my end. It's I'm just being direct and I'm being okay. I mean, I put a little emoji happy face and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to spam you, Costas. Am I spamming you? Do you feel like I'm spamming you? And they're like, no, no, that's fine. Or yeah, you're spamming me, right? Please stop. And then that gives me an opportunity to call them. Believe it or not, I'm like, hey, Costas, say, I would text them back if they say, yeah, please don't spam me anymore. I'm saying, I'm so sorry about that. I didn't mean to spam you, Costas. And they'll be like, oh, that's okay. Pick up the phone, call, hey, Costas, I feel really bad about spamming you. I didn't want it to sound like it was. What part of me sending stuff did you feel like it was spamming?
Hmm.
And then Costas would be like, well, we're just not going to sell right now. So it felt like you were kind of trying to get the sale. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you felt that way. So you're not thinking of selling it all in the next 12 months? Well, maybe. And then you get into the whole conversation again.
Hmm.
So this for us, this has been great because as soon as they respond either no, continue, or yes, I win.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So guys,
And that's it.
this campaign is ready and waiting for you right now inside your Agent Legend account. It's called Expired Drip Listing Quickly. You can find it in our template library. And when you go through, it's already pre-created, but just as a reminder, when you go through in your account, pay attention to the voicemails because you're going to want to change those. Those are in Tristan's voice. Also, any messaging here that has information about yourself, Tristan would have included a link to his profile, his Yelp reviews. Make sure to change those for your own.
That's right. That's right.
So just remember to go through, change the voicemails. You can also remove the voicemails. Obviously the you're going to do better the more channels that you use, and they all work to help each other, right? If you were only sending text messages, you wouldn't do as well as if you were using your voice and you were sending emails. It's just the way humans work. We're not just committed to one channel, even though everybody's glued to their phone all the time.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's the point of multimedia, right, Tristan?
Yeah, dude. And you know what? If they want to add an extra step to all of this, and this is from me telling you earlier on, uh, you could also, if you feel like I just finished talking to you, Costas, and you're like, well, yeah, I'm probably gonna do something. I need to take a little bit of a break. This was too much for me. I didn't like all these people coming through my home and all that. I'm like, okay, no problem. That to me sounds like somebody's interested. So what I would do is not only would I put them on this, but I would also put them on some type of a campaign to send them cards, or actually go buy a couple of cards and have your admin do it or you do it. But that's the reason that we don't cover every single city for expired. I'm only focused on one city because it gets very cumbersome, but we go deep.
I like it. As usual, Tristan, you're coming from a point of, every time you present your campaigns, I always think of, I don't know if you're a fan of Jay Abraham and his strategy of preeminence, but it's like, we recently, so I'm here in Nashville, our company's based in Nashville, and I recently changed our office location in Nashville, and we were, excuse me, we worked with a commercial leasing person to help us find our current office. And so he got us into this office here in Nashville. And then he was a younger kid. He was a couple of years out of college. And he said, well, okay, the next time that it makes sense for you to reach out to me is when it's time for you to upgrade to a bigger office, because, maybe you've got a lot more staff or something like that. And I immediately, when you see someone who's younger, we all remember what it was like to be younger and in our, right out of college and fresh. I immediately, and I wish I had said this, but I wanted to say, look, don't wait until we're ready to do something, because by then I would have forgotten who you are. Like, find other things to check in with me on, find other ways to talk to me and bring me value. So that way I remember you 2 years from now. or a year and a half from now. And that's exactly what you're doing here, right? You're
Yeah.
you're not coming at them the same way as everybody else, because all those other people are going to be forgotten, and you're helping them in so many additional ways, uh, from all the ways that you can come across, and you're being thoughtful, and you're being kind, and you're being nice, and that's how you run your business anyways. And that's why this works so well for you.
Yeah, man, that's it. That's the point, and I think that you hit it right there. We're trying to stay in front of them in so many different channels so that we can remain relevant, right? Because all we're fighting for is their attention.
Absolutely. And I think, I think that's the best part of what we're doing together, Tristan, because it's not a automation by itself is pretty terrible, because nobody wants to be marketed to by a robot, right? Even any of us, as soon as we pick up the phone and we realize that, this is a recorded message, you can't hang up the phone fast enough.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
when you are interacting with somebody, like you are, as you're presenting through this, you put this together very thoughtfully. So it's like you take the way you, Tristan, like to communicate with people, and you combine that with technology that does that for you. So it really is you communicating with them. It's not robotic, because it's the same thing as if you did reach out, and the customer is better off for it. So that's why this works so well, and that's why you and everybody else continues to do so well, and we have such a large membership and a large following, because everybody's got their own expression. Not everybody has to say things in the same way, but man, oh man, it works.
Yeah, dude, it definitely does. And now I'm looking at uh well, we just finished up the for sale by owner one, right? And then I'm looking to build out a 5-year sphere campaign, which is not as easy as it, I guess it doesn't sound easy, but it's not easy. How's that?
Right. But those are the
So
things that are
that's
going
what
to
I'm,
keep you ahead, because those are the relationships I mean, you don't have time to follow up with people for 5 years. You've got fires to put out, and you've got people who want to buy now. You're not going to step over hungry buyers now. And that's why nurturing over the long term is something that gets overlooked. It's important, but it's not urgent. So you're smart to do that.
yeah, what do you all think we should be working on to create drips for? What are you missing?
That is a really good question. What do you
Anybody want
guys
to step
want?
up and answer that?
Let me call out. Yeah, type into the chat box, guys. Brian, Carol, Christine, Christopher, Dahlia, Dennis, Eleanor, Henry, Herman, Jeanne, Jeff, Jorge, Joseph, Luke.
I'm going to ask that question on lab coats too.
That's really smart. Yeah.
That's a good one.
So Joseph says, finding an off-market seller for your pre-qualified buyer. That's very specific.
Trying to think how we would have to find that. The challenge is when you have a list of people that are possibly going to sell from, you can get it from Title or different companies that offer that. You still have to get permission to be able to reach out to them by voicemail or text, right? So you don't want to ruin that.
Mm.
That's more of a challenge. I think if you've got a large database like me, it becomes easier. My database has 60,000 people in it.
Mm.
So that's a lot easier. But for somebody that doesn't have a large database, I don't know. I'd say that if you're going to work that way for sellers, you create some ads on Facebook and target an area through custom audience, right? Download the right audience through Cole Realty Resource, upload it as a custom audience to Facebook. Then when people respond through there, then you can have the automation come into play through Agent Legend,
You know,
right?
there's another piece around that some people have done, and that is they run a hot they call it like a hot homes campaign. Are you familiar with that type of campaign, Tristan, where you run a Facebook campaign, and you you advertised certain neighborhoods, and you get people to opt in because they want a list of the hot homes, the undervalued homes in these very popular neighborhoods, and you get a list of your prospective buyers that way, and potential
Yeah.
sellers as
I
well.
mean, you could totally do that on as a Facebook ad too, if they allow it in your state to do a coming soon or an off-market property, and then you can collect all those people that are interested.
Absolutely.
I guess yeah, I can see that. All right, maybe. That's a maybe. Who asked that question?
That was Joseph.
All right, Joseph, that's a maybe.
Okay, guys. Well, listen, if you are a member with us now, which like 99% of you are, it's in your account. We are also here to help. Bria and our customer success team are standing by. Just reach out to us, log into your account through your app. We will help you get this set up. The campaign is ready for you. We'll hook up your leads. We'll get everything going for you. It'll be very, very straightforward. If you're a Lab Coat Agents member and you haven't signed up for Agent Legend yet, and you're interested, please just feel free to go to our website and chat us up. We love talking to you guys, and we're happy to do a demo and answer any questions that you might have. Also, I'm going to process the recording here. So if anybody missed any of this, you're going to get the recording that you can go through, and you're also going to get our PowerPoint presentation. So that way you can go through it and share it with your team and just have it as reference. So Tristan, as always, thank you so, so much. Please, guys, follow up with us by email. Just let us know how this served you and anything we can do for future presentations that you'd like to see. Any closing words, Tristan?
No, I'm just happy to be here. Thanks.
I'm happy you're here too. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.